Richard Medhurst is one of the very few journalists and commentators that followed every day of the hearings involving Mr. Assange. He's a man with a vast social media following, and I'm very glad to say he joins us now. Richard, welcome to the mother of all talk shows. Tell me this, first of all, what can you bring us about the current state of health, mental and physical, of the prisoner Julian Assange?
Hi, George. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure. Julian Assange, you know, we heard extensively during the extradition hearing at the Old Bailey that from numerous doctors that visited him while he was in the Ecuadorian embassy under arbitrary detention, while he was in Belmarsh prison, his mental health, his physical health have significantly deteriorated. I mean, we're talking about the top neuropsychiatrists in the world. They gave their expert testimony, and they were very clear on this, that if Julian Assange is extradited to the United States, there is a high risk of suicide. And, you know, he's being persecuted and locked in a maximum security prison that's meant for Britain's worst murderers and al-Qaeda terrorists. And you have to consider he's been arbitrarily detained for the last decade, right? 7 years in the Ecuadorian embassy, 2 years now in Belmarsh prison. I mean, this is degrading, inhumane treatment, all because he exposed evidence of U.S. war crimes. They're trying to break him mentally and physically, and they're keeping him in solitary confinement. And, you know, he's not allowed to have visitors. He's deprived the comfort of his partner and his children. I mean, it's astonishing, right? This is happening in the middle of London, which is a supposedly liberal democracy, you know, a society that upholds free speech, and this is how we're treating journalists. Well,
I hope the audience got that more clearly than me. It was out of sync in my ear. But just in case they did, and the producer-director hasn't cut us off, so I suppose it must be okay amongst the audience, Richard. It's precisely the danger of suicide and irreparable mental illness that caused the British court to throw out the American extradition application. Once that was thrown out, why is Assange still behind bars? He's been found by the British court not to be extradited. If the Americans want to appeal, why does he have to be held behind bars while they do?
That's a great question, because you might recall there was a Jordanian cleric, Abu Qatada, who was a member of al-Qaeda. He was let out of the same prison, out of Belmarsh, on house arrest. He was allowed to live comfortably in a home paid for by the British taxpayer. But apparently a non-violent journalist who threatens US and UK imperialism is not afforded that same comfort. You know, it's astonishing. And the United States, you know, the extradition was blocked by Judge Baretzer specifically because of the health reasons. You know, she cited the fact that U.S. prisons are so horrible that the suicide risk would increase dramatically if he's sent there, and it's almost certain that he would be placed in administrative segregation, basically solitary confinement, both before and pre-trial and you know, post-trial, when he's sent ultimately to ADX Colorado, which you know, you go and you never see the sun again, as the warden said. And it's astonishing that she only decided to block the extradition on health grounds, because she basically agreed with the computer hacking charge and the 17 counts of espionage. She basically upheld the political nature of the indictment. This is shocking, you know, because this indictment is essentially criminalizing journalism in the US and the UK, and the US is imposing its laws on the UK, and she okayed that. She agreed with that, and it's absolutely astonishing that this is happening. That you know, the judiciary has been hijacked by the United States, and of course Joe Biden, you know, he's lodging the appeal and continuing Trump and Pompeo's work.
So finally, Richard, because this is a bit of an Andy Warhol interview for me, because I'm actually hearing you 6 times simultaneously. or rather, just not simultaneously. So my last question, when will the end of this be in sight? For how long are they going to keep a man not only not guilty of any crime in Britain, but actually not even accused of any crime in Britain in these dastardly conditions? Go ahead.
Well, as long as they can. I mean, we've seen from leaked documents that it's part of their plan to just keep on persecuting him, having him jump through appeals and court proceedings for decades, if that's what it takes. This is what the United States does to people who challenge its imperialism. This is what the United States is trying to do. It's trying to make an example out of Julian Assange. That if you expose our crimes, we are going to persecute you until we'll chase you until the earth's end. And right now we're waiting for the appeals process to continue because the United States wants to appeal the judge's decision not to extradite, and the defense, Assange's defense, is